We are back with another edition of What's Next Longevity Deal Talk, and we're glad you are taking the time to be with us. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Mary Furlong. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Fred. I hope everyone's enjoying a fun fall season. So many people excited about Halloween, and we have a really interesting deal to talk about today.
We do. Trilogy Health Services is joining the eBrief Early Adopter Program from Talk-etectRX. And with us from eTech is co-founder and CEO Eric Buffkin. Hi, Eric.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me. Mary, we are enjoying a fun fall season that has started with two hurricanes here in Florida. So it has certainly not been your normal start to the fall season. It's been a welcome break to be able to travel up to Noblesville and see our friends at Trilogy this fall. I can assure you of that.
And that's in Indiana, and they even felt some of the wind, I understand. So with us from Trilogy is Holly Snyder, Executive Director at the Prairie Lakes Health Campus. Hi, Holly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this.
We're so happy to have you both here on the podcast. Eric, let's share a little bit about your background and the background of the company. You have quite a history with entrepreneurship.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Mary. My background has primarily been in the world of tech and semiconductors for the past 30 years. 10 or 15 years ago, I connected up with some folks here in Florida to develop an ingestible sensor that was to track medication compliance. And make a very long and winding story short, we developed that. We cleared it through the FDA. It's on the market, being used very successfully. And then we realized the same technology could be used for some other interesting applications, which is how we met Holly and her colleagues.
And now you've announced an early adopter program partnership with Trilogy Health Services to assist with urinary incontinence monitoring.
That's right.
Let's talk about how you're using technology to really help older adults and caregivers here.
Well, sure. And Holly, please chime in whenever you feel like as well, or when Fred gives you the high sign to do so. So our technology is really a very low cost, inexpensive radio, Fred. It's powered in a unique way. It doesn't have any batteries. It's disposable. It's built on a little tiny strip of film. And the way it's powered is it has two tiny electrodes of different metals. And when they come in contact with bodily fluids like stomach acid for ingestion or urine for an incontinence monitor, it basically creates power, and it powers up that little radio when it starts sending out a message. And so what we realized is there's a huge problem, or huge challenge with in senior care and long-term care, where incontinence takes a significant amount of time and effort by folks like Holly and her staff, and it's an ongoing problem. I've seen estimates of 55, 60% of a CNA's time is actually spent caring for incontinence. And the standard of care is every 2 hours, somebody has to make a check. and I think most of us have raised kids, and checking a baby's diaper is one thing. To do that as a job for an elder adult is not very dignified for them or the caregiver. We realized we could take this technology, embed it into a disposable brief, and create an alarm or an alert that would alert the caregiver when the resident needs care, so they don't have to go interrupt them in the middle of a good night's sleep, or while they're watching Matlock, or while they're eating dinner, or any of these other things, which contributes to their quality of life and the caregiver's better use of time. So we think we can improve their dignity, improve their quality of life, their health, and you know what? Increase the productivity of the staff and the job satisfaction of the staff all at the same time. So we think it's a win-win, and we're working with Holly and her gang to prove that.
And this is all disposable, and there's an app, or how does it contact the caregiver?
So what it does, it is a disposable sensor built into the brief. It sends out a message to a device that we cleverly call the reader. And the reader looks like a picture hanging on the wall in the resident's room. That reader or that picture has a little radio receiver built into it that connects to the Wi-Fi in the community. Once it detects a signal from the brief, it sends an alert over to a tablet at the nurse's station or a mobile device carried by one of the staff to alert them, say, room 202 needs some help. And then the staff can say, oh, well, I'm here right by room 202. Let me go in and take care of it. Or I'm helping somebody else, but I know room 202 needs to be next. So they can go take care of them at that time.
And before I throw it to you, Mary, there's either going to be a lot of excitement or disappointment because there's a new Matlock coming up.
It's great too.
Kathy
It is
Bates.
very cool. I watched an episode. It's very cool.
Doesn't love Kathy Bates, right?
Oh, yes. Who doesn't?
So Holly, I know staffing's always an issue in different communities, but it sounds like you have a wonderful community there. Share your thoughts about the partnership, and what it means for residents and caregivers and the nursing staff.
Well, this partnership is just truly such a blessing. It's exactly what our residents need and our caregivers. So it's a collaboration on all, everyone. It's a win-win. This collaboration introduces just such an innovative way. We are always trying to exceed our residents' expectations. That's Trilogy's standard, exceeding those expectations. So what better way to, when I have these conversations with families and residents, even like Eric said, when the staff get alerted that someone needs attention, that is truly, it really is still hard to even fully grasp the concept, how far we have come in this whole process of briefs. Like he said, we spend a lot of time, dignity, now instead of doing those 2-hour checks, especially with the staffing, now, like he said, so much of your day is taken by just going in to quote unquote check on your resident and do your checks. Now, I call it, in my own words, purposeful changing. You're only disrupting, especially for our memory care. Memory care is really big. You don't want to disrupt them from their programming. You don't want to wake them up. When you wake them up in the middle of the night, it is hard for them to fall back asleep. So when we're only waking them up because we know that we need to, or we're only disrupting them from their favorite activity because we need to, that's huge. And with the staffing, again, they now have it at their fingertips how they could prioritize their work. And even from shift change to change, they know exactly when the last person's been toileted, when they've been changed. So right from the start of your shift, it smooth line the whole process of your day.
A real quality of life issue.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For the caregivers and the patients. Eric, what are some of the key things really that set you apart from the competitors there may be in this space?
I appreciate you asking it, and I will try and make it simple. You guys probably notice I can run on when I get excited and start talking about this stuff. But probably the key thing, guys, is the fact that we don't require just any significant change in the workflow. Our sensor is built into the disposable brief, so you use it, you throw it away, and that's what the caregivers are accustomed to today. So we provide this service and this information without saying, okay, now you got to learn to do something else and attach a gizmo to the diaper and, the brief, and, clean it and keep it charged and everything. So it's really about the ability to work with any brief with a disposable sensor and improve the workflow and not have to change it.
Now, tell us how the deal came about and how Trilogy Health can be making use of the technology. We want to hear from both of you on this. So, Eric, you can lead off.
Oh, okay. Well, had the privilege of meeting Trilogy CEO Leanne Barney last year in Dallas at I think it was the NIC conference in Dallas last spring. And we met, we talked about what e-tect was doing. She invited us to come up and show it to her staff. And so we made a trip up to to Louisville. I was about to call it out Indianapolis, since the Trilogy revolves around Noblesville for me these days. But we went up to Louisville and met with Leanne and Rhonda Sanders Simmons, one of her colleagues, a few other people online, and we did a demonstration. And we basically took a brief that had the sensor in it and a bottle of blue Gatorade, not yellow. It works better to demonstrate blue. It's easier to see. and we set it up in the room, and we poured the Gatorade on there, and the indication happened, and they said, "Wow, how come somebody hasn't invented this before?" And so I'm sure Holly knows this, but I'm gonna brag on Holly a little bit. The first thing out of Rhonda's mouth was, "We need to put this in Holly's place in Prairie Lakes," because they said she's one of our best EDs, and she would be great with this. So that's how it came about. We went up, we told her what we're doing, we demonstrated it, and they were gracious enough to give us the opportunity, and Holly was receptive to it. And we had a great meeting with Holly's staff a little while after that. And once we had the okay, we went in and did a survey of the site to figure out how the radio was going to work in the building. Came back, set it up, took about 2 days to set up. One of the things we do once it's set up is we have a member of our staff actually on site for the following week to make sure that once we've trained everybody that they're still there. So if somebody has a question, we've got somebody there to answer it and somebody there to help them understand how to use it so that we could, kind of accelerate and smooth that transition into using in the system. So that's how the deal came about. We hope, and our fervent hope is we make Holly and her folks very happy, and that we get the opportunity to work with her 120 or 30 or 40 or however many colleagues she has out there in the Trilogy ecosystem.
Holly, you really are a jewel. I could see the innovation and also how important that you think about the residents, the families, the caregivers, and the nursing. So give us your point of view on the decision and how the program came about.
Well, like Eric said, once Rhonda Simmons called me and said, "I have something for you," again, I've been a nurse for over 20 years, and now I went back and I'm on the operational side as well. But the nursing, once a nurse, always a nurse. So I feel like I'm in a very unique situation. I always make the resident care our number one priority. So when you really just stop and take it in and think of all the benefits, like more benefits than you would even realize. But I'm happy to share, since we piloted this, we haven't had any falls. To me, that is a huge thing. And to confidently say we have not had a fall yet since starting in this product, that's huge, because a lot of our falls are people that are trying to use the restroom on their own or just uncomfortable because they are incontinent. So that's really big. But just to, skin issues and urinary tract infections, and not to mention things that people don't even think about, is the amount of laundry that our laundry services are doing, or the amount of housekeeping, or, furniture cleaning. It really touches every single aspect of an entire campus, not just the nursing piece, which I love. You could really look at the whole picture and see the true benefits.
Today, with staffing such a challenge, what's been the reaction of the staff? The system can be of real benefit and cost savings, I think.
It's huge because, again, just like the falls, let's just use the fall, for example. Obviously you want the residents to be safe, but say they do have a fall and there are no injuries, there's still a lot of time that they're doing for those follow-ups. So you've just eliminated all of that time. And like I said, when you're doing your shift changes, exactly, so they know who is a priority, who's already been toileted, who needs changed. And another thing that this product offers that I don't think a lot of people realize is we can also detect how long someone's been dry. So if someone's been dry for 5 hours, we know, like, okay, are they having urinary retention? Are they dehydrated? So it also can benefit in that aspect as well, just not the wetness part. But I feel like just the staffing, knowing that they're not going in every 2 hours, they're not waking people up, they're not doing total bed changes, all that and we also have the data at our fingertips that we know those peak times, so we can increase staffing now. So we know maybe from 1 to 5 is our most downtime, but in the morning and evenings, so we can accustom our staffing to the needs of our residents.
I know that urinary tract infections are one of the leading causes of hospitalization.
Correct.
Or fall. So this looks like a win-win-win.
Eric, is there something you can tell us about the cost of this that we can share with the audience?
Well, what I'd rather do rather than tell you the specific penny cost, Fred, is we tried to model this to be a service for the community. It's not about these communities are extremely. I had no idea when I came into this industry how sophisticated the operation of these communities are, especially when you look at an organization like Trilogy, who's a large, sophisticated, both technologically, logistically, professionally. It blew me away. I come out of organizations that have been inventing the technology and the internet the last 30 years. I thought, hey, these guys are pretty smart. I'm sure that, but I was blown away. So what we would try to do is come in with a complete system that would complement what they're doing. They don't have to figure out how to buy new briefs. They don't have to figure out other stuff, to adapt to us. We bring it in as a service. It's a flat monthly fee per bed. There's a nominal setup charge up front because we got to go in and put some hardware in and things. But we strive to also make it very non-capital expense oriented. It's all strictly an OpEx type of thing that can be done without a lot of cash outlay, and that's our goal. I will say, we are not going to be as cheap as the cheapest brief you can buy on Amazon. If somebody's sole concern is how cheap a brief can I get, we may not be a great fit for them. If, on the other hand, the important are the things that Holly was describing, which are resident health, resident dignity, staff productivity, staff satisfaction, overall health and well-being of the community, that's the kind of place that we can really make an impact and really want to do good.
Clearly a lot of value there. And you mentioned that the Trilogy has something like 130 communities, or more than 130 communities in all. So assuming this is going to go well, it seems to be going very well. How big of a step is this for you and the company?
This is when we started applying our technology in this application about a year and a half ago, Fred, there's things when you start something, you kind of put up, well, if this were to happen, this would be the thing, and to be able to engage with one of the leaders in this industry, not just size and number of residents, but thought leaders. One of the companies people look to for setting trends for how do we do things, to engage with somebody like Trilogy and to be pointed, first and foremost to their number one award-winning property as our first test. I'm going to feel pretty darn good if we can keep Holly and her staff happy, that we can do well across the Trilogy enterprise, and hopefully, use that as a springboard to helping other communities as well.
I think it's safe to assume there will be more deals to come. And how could those interested learn about your early adopter program?
Well, we do have, I will say we do have some other deals that are not public yet that I will be happy to talk with you about when we can. And the best way to learn about us is, either go to our website at etectrx.com or see us at Optimize in Louisville, see us at Leading Edge in Nashville. I don't know what the next one after that is, or give us a call. We're available just about any time to help you out.
Well, I will see you at Optimize next week, and I think we'll be on the agenda there as well. And congratulations to you, Eric, and to Holly. And thank you again for sharing with our audience.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Holly, and I gotta once again say thanks to Holly. Her staff is the bomb.
Thank you for that. You guys are good as well. It's so far it's been a dream collaboration. So that's all you could ask for, just to start it off. So thank you.
Thank you, Eric and Holly. The website once again is etectrx, etectrx.com. And thank all of you for spending time with us. You can always find us and our What's Next Living Longer, Better, Smarter podcast at maryfurlong.com/podcasts.